Welcome to As the Crow Flies Hiking. I wanted to do a short follow-up video of the Featherstone Backbone One. I told you that I would once I did my first impressions, and I've had it out a while. So I've taken it on probably 5 or 6 trips now, and I love the tent, still do love it. Oh well, I've got my makeshift tent poles. So I'm gonna set my tent up right here as the sun goes down. Get started for the night. Let's do it. Tonight I'm going with the Featherstone Backbone One tent. Really enjoyed this tent. Carried out on a lot of adventures because it's light and it's really compact. And it sets up with 2 trekking poles if you have trekking poles. If not, you get some sticks. That's what I'm doing. So basically, because I forgot my trekking poles, I'm going to use these sticks, and I'm going to take my extra pair of socks and put them on top so that it doesn't rip the steel nylon of the tent. So let's do that. Well, it took a minute, but it's up, and use the sticks and everything. I would point out some things that you know, maybe aren't as great as I'd want them to be, or some things that maybe could change. So I'll do this video to show you just what's great about the tent and some things that, you know, may need a little tweaking, I guess, on the tent. So let's look at it. First, I still love the vestibule space. If you can see through the tent, you see on the other side just how much vestibule space you have on the tent on the other side, and you have that much room on the other side. That was a selling point to me. I think it's a really great tent because of that one feature, having that much vestibule space on a 1-person tent. And I absolutely love that. I will say that the living space obviously is small because it's a 1-person tent. You can get the Backbone 2 in a double version, but I wanted the one. So with all the vestibule space, you don't really need that extra living space behind the netting. Now, I do love the netting on the tent. It's a big wide area, so you get a lot of area for airflow and condensation not to build up, and you have a good steep pitch to the tent on both sides, so condensation can roll down really good. I love the steel nylon. I think because it's $180, I think, I mean, it's really going to be hard to get anything other than steel nylon for that particular purpose. But let me show you some things that I wish that were a little different on the tent. And this is just me. You may like these things, but I just want to point these out. Number one, I don't like this particular type of line lock. I don't even know what it's called, but you see these on a lot of tents. It has a tension point and it pulls tight there. I wish it was just a traditional line lock at the bottom because it's just a little clunky to me on how it pulls out. Of course, right now I'm on a sandy surface, so I can't pitch the tent like I'd like to, but that's one thing you have to deal with when you're talking about a trekking pole tent. Now, when I say trekking pole tent, obviously, as you've seen, I don't have my trekking poles because I forgot them. And so whenever you've got a trekking pole tent, you got to bring them. And if you don't, at least you can have a plan B, and that is I got some sticks and I use them. Now, on the trekking pole front of this tent, absolutely love this little pocket sleeve that they have because I've got sticks in here. I have a sock on the end, but it has a little pocket up in here that pulls down, and it really protects the tent on this pocket so that you don't worry about the tension, because that's where most of the tension is on the tent. I do like the fact that they've got these little pull-out points that you could take the tent and hold it up with those if you needed to. That's great for this tent. And I love that they have seam sealed all the seams up and down and across, which really protects the tent. The other thing, and the one thing that I really don't particularly like, and I would say that something you have to think about, is the flies on the vestibule. Because it only has one area that you can pull it back, you have all this stuff that pulls down, and it really doesn't allow you to pull everything away from the netting. So you just have this one here, and that's fine, but you are going to have a lot of hangover from the vestibule when you pull back your tent. The last thing I'll show you is when you stake out the vestibules, it has this little feature here that can come apart really simply, and maybe there's a different feature how it works, but this piece right here comes off. And when it comes off, then if you lose it, and you don't really have a way other than these small press-it hooks, I guess, to attach it out and stake out the fly. So you use this as the line lock. It goes around these two sides of the vestibule, and then you can just simply attach it like this to this little attachment on each side, and that's what you'd use to pull out the vestibule on each side. And if that comes apart and you lose it, then you've lost it for good. Otherwise, it has great ventilation. Absolutely love the tent, and the price point with this particular tent, I really think you can't beat it. It is a great tent to get into the backpacking market with. If you want to go out and don't want to spend $800 on a tent, I would highly recommend this tent, either in the 1 or 2 version. Thank you guys for watching this episode of As the Crow Flies Hiking. I said I would do a follow-up of the Backbone One and just kind of give my impressions after using it 5 or 6 times. And I'm really thankful to Featherstone for sending it to me. I think it's a absolutely wonderful tent. And I think anybody getting into backpacking, I would highly recommend this particular tent in the Sil Nylon 1 or 2 because of the price point, because of all the features that you get. Great vestibule space, good room, and great construction, good tent to have. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next adventure.